in detail from a very high level overview from the complete basic sense of where people don't have much knowledge on what's going on with the Tate case, and then go down to the granular level for me, explaining about what happened with the Tate case, why they were arrested, and just giving me a breakdown up until the present day where we're at now.
Sure. So basically, they were arrested on the 29th of December, and the charges they were arrested on was human trafficking and one allegation of a rape or two. Essentially, what happened was, when you look at the information, the claim was that these women were basically held without their will. Now, when one looks at actually what happened, it's far from the truth. So you had one woman from the United States who had only been in the Tate house for 5 days. So her entire lifespan of this human trafficking was 5 days. And some of that as well, the Tates weren't even in Romania. And the second thing, and so what she did was she influenced the other woman who'd already been there, and she was from the United Kingdom. Now, why I'm mentioning these countries is because, and why it's important is because sometimes one is put under the false impression that these women were taken from countries where, you know, they're very poor and they have no other opportunities, and therefore they were almost had no choice and basically were forced into this business. But in reality, these women weren't. They were basically they came from affluent countries. Now, what happened was, when the woman from the United States came, she influenced the one from the UK, and then they claimed that they were basically, and they actually didn't claim anything. What happened was, when she was there, she texted her mother, and her mother called the US embassy, and then there was a raid. Now, there possibly could have been a complaint by the girl's boyfriend as well, but that's not been verified, but being claimed by the Tates. And then after that raid happened, what happened was you had a scenario where you have the raid, the girls leave, and then 3 weeks later they went to basically a luxury resort in the south of France. So again, the question becomes like, how were they able to finance that? So either they were making a lot of money, so hence again it goes against human trafficking, or someone paid for it. Now, in terms of the claims itself, is the CCTV footage showing that there was no human trafficking, because the women were easily moving. They were going in and out, in and out of the house, outside the house, and the men weren't there, like the Tates weren't there. Similarly, there's been leaked WhatsApp messages. And in the leaked WhatsApp messages, what it shows is the girls were basically said that, that the Tates weren't bothered whether they leave or not. So if the Tates aren't bothered, that means there's no control. They had access to their passports, they had access to Uber, and they were regularly texting their parents and, you know, people in the outside world. So again, it shows there wasn't physical control, and they showed there wasn't psychological control, and so therefore it doesn't meet the standards of human trafficking. In terms of the rape allegation, there was three other witnesses present when this alleged incident happened, and they all are saying that it didn't happen. And lastly, you got a scenario where those two women are the only the main people who are complaining, because other women who allegedly were the victims, they've actually come out and said, look, we're not victims. We see the Tate's family and we're not victims. Now, what the prosecutor said is, irrespective of that, we consider these women to be brainwashed. But then the question becomes, how did they make that determination? Well, how they made that determination is they never spoke to the women. So they spoke to the woman from the UK and the US, and solely based on that conversation, they made the determination that those other women are brainwashed. So imagine someone making a psychiatric analysis on you after speaking to me. So that's essentially what's happened, which is highly problematic. So that's essentially a quick summary of what's happened. So they were in preventative detention for 4 months. And what that means is you're in detention without ever being charged. So just think about that. Someone's liberty and freedom has been taken away. And it's taken away, and still you're not charged. The person is still researching whether to charge you or not. So there's that incident occurred. And then recently the preventative detention was moved and they went to house arrest.